Is anybody there?
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm good. Are you coming up from a nap?
Yeah. But yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
Exhausted.
As as I,
Exhausted. I need this day to end, and this day is just never ending.
because that's what days are. They're never fucking ending.
Well, we also got to remember today is technically a holiday, and it's one of those floating holidays where some people get to take it off and some people don't. I, I am in
Mm-hmm.
the latter category, and because 90% of the people we work with are overseas, they don't really know or respect Veterans Day, so it's just one of those we've been super fucking slammed. So technically,
Well,
this is my lunch break right now after 10 straight hours.
oh, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
we on
Well,
that
I'm
type
sorry
of
to hear
time.
that. Right. So then let's get into it so you can relax.
Oh, great. Yeah. This will be the first time I'm hearing anything about Raw. I've had my notifications off. I did not watch last night, so
Yeah, for once we went from a week of like, this feels kind of like monotonous and like there's not much going on in wrestling to we had a lot of things happen in
This is
wrestling.
good.
well, I was watching the Eagles win last night. So
I don't know why you picked that boring ass game over Raw, but nah,
oh yeah, because that was in the cards. I knew it was going to be boring.
yeah,
Okay.
that is true. No one expected a snooze
Now,
fest.
now, ladies. Now, you're both
Now I'm
beautiful.
teasing because it was supposed to be a good game, and it was just Raw. Raw
Oh,
would
it
have
was
been
a good
better.
game.
Raw would have been
It was a
better.
good game. It was a good game. No, I watched Raw
Wait,
about
you didn't? Oh, I was about to
2
say
hours ago.
you didn't witness. You didn't witness.
No, not until like 2 hours ago.
Oh, okay, okay,
I was
okay.
watching the
Nice.
Eagles game and I had my notifications off.
So I was today years old, finding out that he never won an IC title.
But
Oh my gosh, really?
same.
No, I'm joking. I'm
Mm-hmm.
kidding. Yeah, yeah. Yes, he's
No,
never
really.
been IC champion. Yes.
So last night was pretty much a big deal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for I liked it, but I knew it was, I knew if they were going to do that for anybody, they were going to do that for him. I
Mm-hmm.
always it's funny because I always look at Sheamus. I'm like, they're gonna never do that for him, but I always thought they would do that for Cena. Seriously, hopefully they do it for Sheamus as well. But
I was about to say, why did you feel that
it,
way?
it because he's not Cena. I feel like Cena's the only one they would have purposely done that for on the way out. I hope they
Mm,
do it for Sheamus, but I don't. I just don't see it.
mm-hmm.
Hopefully I'm wrong, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but Cena, I absolutely kept looking. I'm like, they're going to give him the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to give him. I just kept saying that the last, uh, I'd say maybe 2 years. And I only say that because I felt like Cena's got to get it before he goes out. I was like, I don't think they would let Cena go out without winning it. And yeah, last night was just okay. As soon as I saw it today, and I was like, oh, all right, well, that's good. I was like, good stuff. I
Mm,
mean, he could lose it next week for all I care. And that might be the plan, to be honest.
mm-hmm. 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 And who should he drop it to?
Shoot. I mean, to be honest, he could drop it right back to Dominic.
Does that serve a purpose? Because I feel like Dominic did such a great job. Although, like, I could have done a little bit longer with a run, but I think he did a really good job, and I think he's ready for the next level a little bit.
I'll answer that question with a question. D- does it serve a purpose that Cena won it other than giving him a grand slam? No.
No, the purpose serves to put somebody else over, and Dom is already over.
Yeah, I think for Dom to carry it to ultimately give it to somebody else. Yeah, I think Dom was right place, right time as the Intercontinental Champion to do that with Cena. but I could easily see him getting it back as early as next week.
Mm,
And then, on his way to, truly turning him into a babyface, he drops it to somebody, like he drops it to Finn or some. I could see that happening. I just think it
mm,
didn't, to be honest, it works out perfect that Dom was the Intercontinental Champion. But I think it's a situation where it didn't matter who was going to be the Intercontinental Champion. What happened last night was happening. It just made it great that it was Dominic that was able to get the rub from that. But I think it was going to happen no matter who the Intercontinental Champion was. But right place, right time for Dom. And I could see him getting it back. Does he get it back? Maybe not. Does it not happen until Survivor Series? Maybe. Who knows? I could easily see Cena, whoever, to be honest, it could be whoever Cena's opponent is for Survivor Series that costs him the Intercontinental Championship or takes it from him. I mean, it could be anything, but I obviously I don't see Cena going and retiring with it, and then there's a tournament for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't see that happening. But yeah,
mm,
Cena could definitely lose it between next week and Survivor Series. I think it's too predictable of who's going to win if he takes it all the way to Saturday night's main event as the Intercontinental Champion, because it's almost a foregone conclusion that he's losing. So
mm.
yeah.
I think Cena needs to make people as he goes out. I think last night he had a great match with Dom. Like I am constantly impressed every time I see him in the ring.
Hmm.
From where he was before the pandemic to where he is now.
Sure.
And I think the next person to take it off of him needs to be another grizzled young vet that needs to
Oh, you want them
get a
back?
rub. I think everybody should be getting rubs. What do you mean?
I'm
That's
sorry.
what
Oh,
she said.
I don't even I forget who they were. I forget who they were.
They're in ROH right now or AEW. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah, I just think that he needs to like this next run needs to be making the next couple of superstars. And I think that is a Carmelo Hayes, that is a um maybe a Solo. Who else is on the come up? Maybe even a Braun Breaker who needs it, or I don't really
that's what I was
think
going to say with those first two you
um
named. And I hate saying it, but you gotta be not you.
or a Jacob.
It's got to be because that title is brand specific. I hate saying that, but it's like because we know people flip flop. But that's one they're not gonna. I don't unless you're moving a SmackDown star over, which is possible. That's why I was like when you were saying who you were saying, I was like, ooh, just
I
for
don't care. I like in my eyes, I don't care about the brand. I just think that his retirement is so significant. He just needs to make the next like I don't think it should be brand specific. I think that's
oh,
the
you're not
least
saying as
important.
Intercontinental Champion. Okay, my bad. I thought you were
I
saying.
am saying as an intercontinental
Oh well,
championship because that, regardless if it sits on Raw or not, I'm thinking they need to go against the green. Is what I'm saying.
okay.
I don't think that there needs to be a brand specific situation. He just needs to make new stars because right now the product is lacking in a very bad way, and they really need to bring some folks up. And even if he can't do it because he only has a couple of more dates left, he just at least needs to give some folks a rub.
I mean, if
That's
this,
just my
yeah,
opinion.
if this person's not in the tournament, it could easily be over Femi next week.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, like I said, you know me. I'm more specific. I know that, and it doesn't matter. I'm just more specific based on literally right here, right now. I'm just thinking, oh, with some of the people you named, they would have to move them over, which is fine. I was just literally thinking, oh, they would move them over just because they wouldn't take. They're not taking the other mid card title to the other side unless they're flip flopping. That's all I was saying. But
Mhm,
yeah, I mean, that's somebody because Gunther's in the tournament and he wasn't a comeback surprise or anything. He was named in the
mhm,
tournament, so it leaves room again. It leaves room where you could have. somebody brand new in Madison Square Garden next week, literally that would be almost as big, and that's probably a reason they don't do it, because that would be as big, if not almost slightly bigger than Cena's last match, is for somebody debuting to beat Cena and become Intercontinental Champion at Madison Square Garden. That's
Mm,
just
mhm.
as big. It's almost like they wouldn't do it because of how big it is. I think they should, because that's easy. That's you could easily you in the process of what they're trying to do with this tournament, you could almost make two people with doing that. They could do that next week and still have the final match. But again, that's probably why they wouldn't do it, because they're going to save that for one person.
Mm, okay, okay. Um, Justin, and then I see Cal popped in.
So I like the little change up of having. I didn't know that Cena didn't have the IC title, which is weird given that his long illustrious career. You would have thought that would have been like the first or second title he got, not the last one that he's
Yeah.
never had. That's why it's like, wait, so this guy's been 16 times, 17 time world champion, but has never been IC title.
That
Makes
it was always that brand specific thing though, because again, back then, you know what I'm talking about. He was always on SmackDown and the US title was always there. He never really had an opportunity to be Intercontinental Champion. By the time he was on a brand with the Intercontinental title, he was only fighting for the world title at that point. I could see it. It does sound like, dang, he's never been out of Intercontinental Champion. But when you think back on it, you're like, dang, he wasn't really in a. He probably had a 2 year window to be Intercontinental Champion, and all that was on SmackDown with the US title.
yeah, so that's number one. Number two, I really liked the match, and it was that was a fantastic crowd to do that in because Boston is one of those like if you've never been to like Boston, that's always like a very hot crowd,
Yeah,
and
he foreshadowed it
they're
too.
kind of and Boston's kind of like New York, Chicago, Philly, where it's like if they fuck with you, they really fuck with you. If they don't, they don't. They're gonna be very vocal about it. So that was a great place to do that, especially Dominic, who's like king, who's just a magnet for reactions and whatnot. Now, I don't want to see Dominic get this title back because given what happened Friday and Monday and kind of like the state of WWE right now, we have too many damn double champions. And the last thing I
Wait,
want,
what happened Friday? What happened Friday?
so Friday, Julia lost her United States title to Chelsea Green, who is
Mm.
also, I think, Triple A champion or a tag team
Yep,
champion.
mixed tag
So
champion.
you have double champion there, and if isn't Kalani or someone down in NXT a double champion?
Not anymore. Sol Ruka was double champion, but she's not the women's North American champion anymore.
Yeah. All right. So she just lost it, but to my knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
she had it. So it's kind of like you have this multiple double champion, double champion, double champion, and Dominic obviously
Mm-hmm.
the AAA mega champion. So it's like I could do without a double champion for a minute, especially that you just did this to Chelsea on Friday. So on top of there's so many people on Raw that could really use that IC title. Like, you really need something for the Vision. You really need something for LA Knight. You really need something for Rusev. I would love for Sheamus to get this. I think he does. It's just a matter of Sheamus is lower on a totem pole than Cena. That's
I wouldn't be mad at Rusev.
I mean, you got to do something with Rusev, especially that Rusev has a history with Cena. It makes sense of
Mhm,
like
mhm, mhm,
you're the one that
mhm.
took away this United States title from me, so boom, I'm gonna get you back with this shit and send you in retirement, which would make sense. But you have so many people on Raw that really needs this. I see what Mimi's saying, where you can always have Cena pop over to SmackDown. I just have a problem with both. If the title stays on SmackDown, I have a problem with both. Your US and IC titles are now over there.
Yeah.
When
Mm-hmm.
Raw has been kicking the shit out of SmackDown for the last couple of weeks now, you can always have it. Well, I was like, well, we could shake it up and have both of them over there. But you kind of this last week has been like one big shake up between SmackDown and
Mhm,
Raw. That's like
mhm,
keep the IC title on Raw because you have a lot more over here. And you already have Dragunov rocking because Dragunov basically picked up where Sami Zayn left off with this United States Open Challenge, and he's put on bangers over there. And I don't want to disrupt that because that's probably one of the bright spots on SmackDown. But I do agree with Mimi with seeing on the way out, put as many people over, and I think he announced that too on Raw, where when he cut his promo, he was letting know of that final match in DC is not just a final match. We're gonna try to highlight NXT kids or like people on the come up as much as possible. So it's
Yeah.
trying to like
Hmm.
everyone's going to watch this Saturday Night main event. Let's try to make it mean something because everyone's been complaining about the last couple Saturday Night main events.
Yeah. Supposed to be pretty much OGs versus like new blood, basically. It's supposed to be, I think he pretty much led it to the saying that it's supposed to be exhibitions of main roster versus NXT, pretty much the whole night. That's what it sounded like he was saying in the promo.
Which I'm perfectly fine with because
Yeah.
NXT has
Mhm.
been bubbling for the last year, and that's a good showcase for. All right, the lights are bright. It's not the full on main roster, but like a test run.
Here's the
It's a
prospects,
test
yeah.
run, and it's weeks or a month before the Rumble. Let's see. Like Trick,
Mhm,
you've been
mhm.
saying you ready. Let's see.
Right. Cal?
Piece of the algorithm.
Good evening. Good
Good
evening.
Good
Chelsea.
evening.
All
evening.
right. Did I have notes? Let's see. Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is a double champion because Ethan Page is currently a double champion. That's the only reason
That's a
she won that title. I just want
that's
just so
another
we're clear.
one.
Well, but that was the story, and I think
Yeah.
like you guys were saying, Dominic Mysterio was. I mean, that motherfucker, I'm sorry, is so on fire. He could drop every title and pick that shit back up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't, there's no reason to be worried. I don't think he's gonna win that IC title back only because there was a quick video online where he was bugging out more worried about where the judgment day was. He was talking about where's my family? I'm not seeing nobody. So I think the story because and that's the storyline
Yeah.
they've been talking about was he hasn't been really they felt like he ain't been stepping up for them. And I mean it was really noticeable in this
And they didn't
situation
show it for him.
wasn't
Mhm.
nobody around. So I don't know. I'm not saying Dom wouldn't be involved again with Cena, but I think they use that for a particular reason to start that because that's what everybody's been saying at a certain point. Dom's going to break away, really go solo, and that's probably going to be the point where this guy who seems like he's on that world title track is going to be. The other note was, and I just wanted to echo Corey. Um, you got to remember John Cena was the prototype, right? When we
Yep.
talk about John Cena becoming a Grand Slam champion, the
Hmm.
prototype for WWE superstars, you get on that little I don't want to say little, but you get on the mid-tier title for a little year or two, which if you go back through some of them videos, that was a SmackDown run. By the
Yep.
time that bastard went over there, I don't want to call him a bastard. By the time that motherfucker went to Raw, it was World Title City, and it
Yeah.
to the point where a lot of those tag team title wins was storyline. Like he would win a
Yep.
title with the dude that he was beefing with, so they could drop it in two
Yep.
weeks right before the big show. So it's him. The number to look for him is a number of world titles, but it was cool to see them give him the Grand Slam. I will say this: my thought has totally been, especially after that promo last night, that whatever New Jack wins that tournament and gets that match with him in DC is going to take that IC title. But because y'all mentioned Rusev, and Rusev was on the podcast talking about, he's talking tough about, it's been almost 10 years since him and Cena have even gotten a situation.
Yeah.
Something tells me I don't know who Cena's facing in New York. That's his last Raw. He's IC champion. He's got to be facing somebody. I would not be surprised if whoever he faces wins the title that night. He and Rusev is the reason that Cena loses that. So then him and
Yeah.
Rusev can have a match at Survivor Series or something like that. Because
Mm.
the only other date, and then that final date is just going to be bet. If they don't want it to be the IC title and have New Jack win the IC title, it would be you're going to be the guy who's testing John Cena. You won this tournament. Now you got to show what it is. I hope it's a new guy though, because they put in too many of these faces I've seen in this tournament, and I want to see. And it could be Mello, it could be Oba, it could be whoever. I really, realistically, I want it to be somebody who can actually, use the rub, to quote Mimi,
Mhm.
to
That's
really
right.
get to, whatever their next stage is going to be. Just like, Brock was the one in the 21-1. This person who beat Cena needs to be the nitrous in their tank to really get them to that next level.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that's all I got. Long live
Yeah,
Dominic Mysterio, though.
it's crazy how you mentioned the Cena tag title runs. I was going to mention that earlier too.
Yeah.
I was like, Cena has literally been tag champions with HBK, Miz, and David Otunga, which were
Yeah,
all
it's
storyline. Like,
all storyline. A lot of if it wasn't world title, all those other, and if it wasn't the world title, the U.S. title, everything. What he was, I was looking. He was Money in the Bank. I don't remember what he lost that though, right?
yeah, he cashed in on. That's when Punk turned heel at Raw 1000.
Ah, okay. That's right. That's right. I was
Yeah,
just looking at that. Okay, I was just looking at that.
in which
Interesting.
I think,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, Cena actually technically won that match. Did he? I think he won by DQ, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
but he
he
didn't win
he
the
won
title.
that one. There was another because they had. I think they wrestled. I was just looking at all this because his last Raw is next week. I want to say it was the year before was the match where him and Punk wrestled on Raw, and the winner of that was going to wrestle the Rock at
It
WrestleMania or
was the year
something like that.
after.
I forget.
It was the year
Yeah, yeah.
after.
That was the year after. Okay, there was
Yes.
like a year in between two of those matches. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
just because Punk pulled out that pile driver, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Ah,
When he and I think Cena did the Hurricane Rana in that match too, and
yeah.
it was a whole that was like the best Raw match of that year for real. And
Yeah, they was rapping. And again, I mean, again, I'm gonna shut up after this, but talk about them seeing the matches. You want to put that on there. If you're somebody that wants to see some of the best of Cena, go find the WrestleMania rematch with Cena and Shawn Michaels. I forget the year, but the full
oh
match is up on
seven
the WWE.
23.
It was a I want to say it was an hour. They had an hour of. They took a whole
Yeah,
hour of Raw, and
like
it's
three
like
weeks later.
45 minutes. Yeah, but they were rapping. They were rapping for real in that match. That was a good one.
Oh
All right,
yeah, I mean, listen, Cal, that goes down, and by most people's standards, and most of these lists, when people make lists,
it's
they
up
say
there.
that's the greatest Raw match of all time is
It's
HBK
up there.
versus Cena from London,
Yeah, they went in.
the hour Broadway. Yeah,
They went in. It was a
and
good one.
I
It was.
loved it. I was literally, I'm not kidding. I was in my dorm at Eastern Shore and I watched that whole match, and I was elated when Sean won. You know, that's my guy. So
Yeah,
I was through the roof. I was
you
like,
you
but yeah,
you
you
were
already
cheering like
know.
they was cheering Cena in Boston last night.
Oh yeah, nah, I man, listen, and yeah, and Cena does, but again, it's so funny you say that because Justin mentioned it, and I said, yeah, Cena foreshadowed that. He literally
Yes.
said, "I'm invincible" in Boston. Like
Yeah.
as soon as they made the match, when I was watching it earlier today, I said, "Oh, Cena's definitely winning." And like I said,
Well,
I cut all my notifications off, so I didn't even know.
Well, he was it was the way he was talking. He said,
Yeah.
"Look, son, wrong city, wrong night." Like this could have been Cleveland, it could have been Orlando, it may have been a different. It could have been Madison Square Garden. It could have been a different situation. Not
Yeah,
the Celtics, not in the Garden.
yeah, no, and that's why I feel like he could lose it as early as next week. He really could.
It makes sense. But I like the idea of him losing, but that match setting up because my other question has always been what is he going to be doing at Survivor Series? It's a date. I'm assuming it's a match. It would be cool if whatever happened here with this IC title could set up that match.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I said earlier, Kyle. I said if he loses it next week, he could lose it, and it be the reason of the person that he's either going to fight at Survivor Series, or
Word.
he may very well fight it. You know, he may lose it to the person he may have a rematch with. It'd be crazy if they did that way, and I don't know who it could be. It could be anybody. It
It could
really
be
could be anybody.
it could be anybody. What if because they got it's 4-on-4 right now for War Games. What if whoever it is and they put Cena and them up in the War Games as well? Again, there's a lot that they could do. There's really a lot that they could do.
Yeah, nah, absolutely,
All right,
absolutely.
I'm gonna get off here. I appreciate y'all.
Anytime, Cal.
W conversation as always.
All love.
Okay, what's next?
Dang. No
That
trans. Look, just cut the
no
record off.
transition, no
She's
And
like, cool, let's
listen,
go
transition.
next. I mean, since you already talked about it and since we already brought it up, might as well bounce over SmackDown real quick. Chelsea Green dethrones Julia, is now your current women's United States champion, another double champion.
yep.
We were saying for a while, what are they doing with Julia? And there have been
That was an
times where
interesting that's an interesting booking.
What you know? It's funny. You all remember? I said this a couple weeks ago. Like it almost seems like back, and it really seems like it now. Julia was ended up being Kiana James's heater as the champion, and it's so weird how that was. It's like they were booking Julia for Kiana James. I see it even more now that she's lost the title. Yes, he's 100% right. This is purely storyline because Ethan Page is a double champion, and the the equivalent of what the United States champion would be in NXT with the North American title. Definitely give Chelsea the double championship again. It's fine because it sucks, but there was literally nothing going on with the women's US title anyway. That there's no you're not feeling anything from Julia losing. And again, like I said a couple weeks ago, it seemed like ever since they paired Kiana James with Julia, the heat was going to Kiana James instead of going to the champion Julia. So it was just weird all the way around anyway.
I agree, man.
Mm.
As much as I
Justin,
love my girl
you
Zelina
think?
Vega, as much as I like Julia,
Wait a minute. Can you hear all of us, Mimi, or can you,
Yeah, I
Mimi?
can hear everybody.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying
I
Justin,
can
like
hear
you
you.
couldn't hear him.
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh no. Mm-mm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, cool. So
Okay.
Go
I
ahead.
love Zelina Vega. I like Julia, but let's be honest, that title has not been the same since Chelsea dropped it the first time. So it's kind of
Right.
it
Yes.
came
Hmm.
back to the
Yes.
right person because when she had it, that was the title over there to where she was outside outshining Tiffany Stratton. Because we forget Tiffany had that women's title for a while, for a long
Hmm.
time, almost damn near a calendar year. And it took the women's 250 to kind of remind me of like, yeah, she had it for a long ass time. So Chelsea having that US title really meant something. And like Zelina gave it a go. It was in the middle, but Julia gave it a go and it wasn't hitting. So for Chelsea to
Mm-mm.
get it, it's like it's the right person. It's now where do we go from there? But that title in Chelsea's hands, right person won.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. No. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again. We keep echoing it and saying it until we're blue in the face. There was just nothing going on with the title anyway. We're literally feeling no ripple effect of Julia losing at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sucks, and that's not a. I mean, it's not a dig on Julia. She can only go out there and do what she's told to do, you know. But it's again, it never felt
Mm,
like
I don't
there was never
I beg to differ. I think
okay.
once you get the title, it's up to you to kind of like, regardless of what your booking is. And I've said this before, regardless of what your booking is, you have that title. It's better if you have to make the title. The title can't make you.
Okay, yeah. I mean, but yes,
That's
and you're
just an
right.
opinion. That's just an opinion.
Yes, I agree with that. I think for me, I just they didn't give her nothing either. So it's like she couldn't do nothing with it with nothing. That's how I kind of felt like with her, and it just the pairing with Kiana James. Even when I saw it happen, I just was like, ugh. It just never felt like, and not because of Kiana James. I like her, but
It was a
it just never
hodgepodge.
felt
It
like
was a
there was.
hodgepodge.
Yeah, it never felt like it was going to be even, or it never felt like Kiana was supposed to be in the background, and that's what I think kind of hurt. It was like you put somebody with Julia. Julia's the champ, but this person is not serving as somebody to elevate Julia as the champion.
Mm-hmm.
She's taking shine from her
Mm-hmm.
because they're they were booking more. There was more action and story with what Kiana James was doing as she was Julia's advisor or whatever than Julia herself. And so it just always felt like you said, hodgepodge. It just never felt like there was an even trade off with that.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but yeah, we got some. I know we're hopping around. We got some
Yep.
war games confirmations last night. I just I'm interested to see because I know we're used to, and as war games is, we're used to the 5-1-5, but I don't know. It's just the way both the men and the women's were, kind of came together as 4-on-4s. It's interesting that I guess if they're going to go with five, that they're doing the last editions the same way, like, which is fine. Which it almost leads me to believe that that door is open, that it's just going to be 4-on-4. But I gotta think it's 5-on-5, right? Am I wrong? Or
I'm not against 4-on-4 because that knocks off 10 minutes per war games because you got to remember
yeah,
it's what 5 minute increments per person. And so
yeah, I think it's five and then two or something like that.
you no, I think it's been 5 and then the
Is it
war
five? Is
games.
it five in between each?
Yeah, because you got to let
Oof,
everyone
that's
rock.
rough.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah,
thing is if you go for 4-on-4, then it's all right, cool. You're not getting 10 minutes off minimum per war games. That's 20 minutes off of your pay-per-view, which means you can throw another match on there. And you have all these other titles that you could put something else on that card versus just two war games and one or two additional matches and whatnot, especially if all your champions are not in this war games match. Like I know for the women, you know, congrats to the Kabuki Warriors on becoming new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They defeated Charlotte and Alexa last night with some help from their other co-members of this War Games match that I did not see this coming, but this carried over from Friday. Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Me
yeah,
was saying we need some shakeup. We need something going on in SmackDown. Got it on Friday. The addition of Lash Legend pops up, gets involved in Charlotte and Nia, and then pops up again Monday night and costs Charlotte and Alexa the tag team titles.
yeah. That was that was confirm that I like her addition to things. One, from bringing her up anyway, but I like bringing her up at War Games time because she'll she'll be able to be properly featured in that match. It's with eight or it's with seven or nine other women at that point, that she'll get her shine in there, and it doesn't have to, all the brunt of the work doesn't just have to be on her and Nia. And she could be showcased instead of having to do all this work on her first night out. So I think this is a good way of bringing her in, because they could have her do some crazy power spots in there that nobody else can do, and it really, she'll have that strong showing going into post War Games.
Yep, the women's one's gonna be interesting. Just ladies, please be careful with this word games. You know, Rhea's coming off broken nose. Charlotte, you're still not a full year removed from the multiple knee injuries. Oscar, you got your own brace as well. Like, I need y'all to come in with one piece.
For real, because I can't.
And this is one of those matches where some girls be getting banged up, and sometimes you see that cage, and it's like, gotta try something, gotta try to, outshine the men, but just come back in one piece is all I ask.
Yep, yep,
I don't
yep.
need this person got re-injured, that person got re-injured, this person's out and probably gonna miss the rumble. This one probably missing Mania. Like, enough. Just come back in one piece. That's all I'm praying on. But yeah, so
True.
that's your women's war games. It's looking like 4-on-4. Maybe you get a fifth person, but I'm not gonna complain if it's 4-on-4 because that's just 5-10 minutes less per match. I'll gladly take that.
Um, okay. Um, it was weird watching Dragunov wrestle.
Why is that? Because he's got his a brace of his own too.
He's got a brace of his own, but it looks so like he looks so like naked.
I, I was gonna say he looks like so it's like trunks, boots, and then the knee brace.
Like all of like he always wore like a 3/4 type thing, right? I'm sorry, it's a little windy. I'm going into the building.
No, I think that's always been his look, minus the knee brace, but
Yeah.
it is what it is
Woo!
from right now.
Who's this? What? It's got super. Sorry, guys. Hold on.
You good, but I'm glad that he took up the mantle for Sami Zayn. You were talking about new blood and shaking
Hmm.
things up. Dragunov as U.S. champion, but taking that U.S. Open challenge, like him and Gargano put on a really good fucking match.
You know, Justin, you mentioned that, and just the first couple of weeks with Dragonov, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, why does this feel like the U.S. title is about to be like the NXT Black and Gold division or something? That's what it feels like. It almost feels like they're gonna book the type of matches or the talent with Dragunov, like the old kind of NXT vibe type talent. It's not gonna be because even Tama Tonga's in the mix, and I love that. There's a different vibe in a good way with Dragunov being champion. It seems like they're booking that title different than anything else. Obviously, with the open 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 challenge series as well, but just the talent they're involving, it just really feels different. Because even when Sammy dropped it to him, I said, "Oh, okay, well, they definitely putting Sammy on the world title course now." Because I still think he's a good favorite to win the Rumble, but yeah, it just the Dragunov thing, I love it because it just feels like we're gonna get all fresh matches with this. So I'm up for it.
You know what
Yeah.
it feels like? It feels like SmackDown has all the people who can like really wrestle between the ropes, but have
Oh
no
yeah.
chance of ever being world champion. Like you think of like Gargano and Champa and Ray Phoenix and like
Hmm.
all those, and then you throw Tamatanga in there, you can throw Montez in there. Like they got guys who can really go, but because Cody's over there, it's like, yeah, you're never sniffing this top title ever. But we got this title and you can make a go of it. And they're like, fuck it. If there's gonna be an opportunity, we let it rock. And like
Yeah.
that's and you put it with the NXT Black Gold, like, yeah, if you really think about it, but like Raw has all like the character wrestlers and SmackDown has like
Yeah.
the ring the bell and watch us put on like at least a 4-star right here. Just for shits
Yeah.
and giggles.
I agree with that. I
It's
agree
been
with
like
that.
that for years, I feel like. It's always
Oh
been
yeah. Yeah.
the wrestling, the tough, the scrappy brand.
Yeah, it's like Raw got the loaded women's division and they got the loaded like mid card for the guys.
Mm, mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
I mean, other than the Bloodline storyline on SmackDown, like Mimi said, SmackDown has always been performance heavy, and Raw was like story heavy.
Mm, mhm, mhm.
Yeah, because I mean, but you're right. Like literally, for the better part of 20 years, SmackDown has been like that. Like it's always been like. I mean, even going back. I mean, look, Guerrero, Bill, like all those people, all those wrestlers were on SmackDown at some, Angle. I mean, Edge, all the Rey Mysterio, like all the wrestlers that they wanted work rate from, they were on SmackDown.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Um, what else was notable last night?
So we got a heel turn that people were like, "Yo, when we gonna get it?" Because you
Which
know if that
one? Who
girl's
is
back,
this?
it's coming, and it happened last night. So
Who is this?
Nicole Garcia.
I'm about to set it up. So Stephanie Vicure defending her title, her women's world championship against Raquel Rodriguez last night.
Mhm.
Solid match. Stephanie held tight. You know, Roxanne tried to interfere, but she had Nikki Bella out there to watch her back
Uh-huh.
until the match ended. And then Nikki Bella took the belt and cracked Stephanie over the head with it and made her
Oh, I
intentions
saw
known
that
of.
happen. I saw that. I saw it. I literally I didn't even so I cut the show off maybe like 9:45. And when she came out with her, I like it was just like foreshadowing.
Hmm.
I was like, I have a feeling this is gonna happen. And so it actually happened. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
it happened. Nikki stands tall, holding the title over Steph. Now,
What does
are they going to
this
add
mean?
those two to the War Games match and make it 5-on-5, or we're going to get a straight up 1v1 for the title at War Games? It TBD.
Hmm.
But now, they were teasing, well, Nikki's her friend and the loyalty, and nope,
No, this is what she does,
a
right?
Bella gonna Bella.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like this is rinse and repeat. This is giving
And
rinse
you
and
know what?
repeat.
We never agree, but we agree with this one. Every time Nikki has been back, they've done this. like
Yeah, like, can we do something else?
like any kind of extended Nikki Bella run that they've done, she's done this. They did it with Ronda Rousey. They did it. They did it here. They done it with Charlotte. They done it like they've done this with her. So if now I'll say this, Mimi and Justin, it's weird that they're doing this, and for me, it's weird they're doing this, and her sister is not involved.
Why?
For just, I mean, no, because I just feel like that's where for her, I always felt like with that term, whenever she's done it, or whenever she's had some kind of, not she's never really on her own.
Okay.
So this is something new that she's on her own now doing this.
I feel like she has been on her own and she has been a heel on her own.
Her sister's been involved most of the time.
Mm,
Yeah, like I feel like she's carried herself by herself without her
Oh, she
sister.
can do it by
yeah,
herself,
I would say
yes,
the
and it just
last couple times Nikki's came back, it's been without Brie, and it's Nikki been rocking without Brie to establish that.
yeah, this heel run is going to be different without. That's what I'm saying for me. I just feel like it would be it's I'm used to seeing it with her sister, but
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, like some of that's like Brie just wants to sit back and be on mom mode, and some of that is if
oh,
you take Brie at her word, which is there's still a little like bad blood with her in WWE over Brian being in AEW,
I don't
and
believe that. I don't believe that.
I
I
don't
don't think so
know.
either.
I'm
I don't
just
believe that.
this.
I don't think
She put
I
it
don't
out there,
think it
so I'm
goes
gonna be
for
like,
that.
if you put it out there, then it is what it is. I'm
I think that's pure speculation on her part because they changed their whole names. They debuted on that side, and Nikki is on this side. And she went, this is after the whole, this is before the Hall of Fame situation. So I just feel like it's just, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not that. Because Nikki wouldn't be over where she is right now. There would still be bad blood on both ends. I just, yeah, he said stuff, but I don't know. I just don't believe it. There's been too many people on one side, spouses on the other, for me to even believe that that's even a thing. I don't believe it, but that's just me.
hmm
But I don't think like when she comes on my screen, and this is nothing to shoot her down, I don't know if a Nikki Bella run is content worthy, like I just don't know. And I just feel like if they're just using her just to create a match at Survivor Series, what are we doing? We're just using filler people. And I'm not going to snooze on Nikki Bella either because she's made a career for herself, but we've all had our say of how we think like Nikki's doing right now. And somebody like a Stephanie Vakir, she needs competition. And it just feels like the direction is, yeah, you're giving us matches and you're giving us content, but is it worthy content?
I mean, but on the flip side, you can't have Stephanie face Raquel and Roxanne forever. I mean, part of
You
it's
can't,
also
but then you got to make stars. Then we go back to the conversation of, are they making stars?
well, they're trying with Maxine, but Maxine's paired with Becky and is in that IC title picture. You
Maxine's
have
not the only one on the roster though.
Lyra's paired with Bailey doing the tag team scene at the moment. Even though I don't remember seeing them on Raw this week, but You got Lyra paired with Bailey, so it's kind of they got the up and comers, but they're kind of busy doing something else at the moment. So maybe this is a
I don't think Lyra's an
wait
up and
till
comer anymore. I feel like she's been on the roster long enough to be a staple
has it been a
on the
full year for
roster.
Lyra?
Or maybe I'm just Lyra exhausted.
Maybe because I know she was definitely there pre Mania, but I don't know if it's been a full year for her or like a little bit after. But maybe this is one of those that's like since we're so close to War Games, we got to wait till after War Games because then you can kind of move some pieces around for Steph to open up Stephanie's new challenger stuff like that.
Mm, maybe. I don't
But
know.
it's a valid point, especially when you have that loaded roster on Raw. It's kind of like you gotta give Stephanie toys to play with other than the same three people. Otherwise, you're doing exactly what happened with Tiffany on the other side, which is why we were so happy Jade took that title off of her. Like, say
And
what
that's why
you.
you don't do a brand split. That's why you don't do a brand split. Maybe the champions stay on the brand and defend it on the brand, but maybe you just don't do a brand split. Or maybe you just go against the grain and yeah, don't do a brand split and let it be a Survivor Series every single week.
Well, but then if you don't do a brand split, then you're putting the same people that everyone wants to see on TV on both
No.
shows, and then everyone else that's
No,
not getting
you
on
mix it
TV is
up.
like,
You have a chance of mixing it up, Kevin. Kevin, I was about to call you. Justin.
I'll take Kevin at the moment.
You get
But
to switch
speaking of
it
mixing it
up.
up, it's like your name is Kevin tonight.
Right. But you get to switch it up. Like the roster is bigger. It's
I do
broader.
like your idea of keep the champions there, but everyone else that's not a champion can flip around.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Or maybe have the champions flip on the flip flop. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I am just in a very weird space with the product right now. I just feel like there's something's got to give. Because last night was a good Raw, but a very good Raw and for a very long time.
You need something to excite you, and right now you're not getting
Yeah,
excited with
I'm
wrestling.
not. I left. I kind of like stepped it back a little bit, and I'm right. I'm like even worse than when I stepped back. Last night was good because I actually engaged in all of the stuff, but it just looks so much different now. I don't
True.
know.
Well, if we complain about the women, then the men's war game, I think that's gonna be the one you tune out on because it's looking like what the Vision and Logan Paul versus CM Punk, Jey Uso, and Homelander, and it looks like
That's
they
He has a
still.
official.
name. Come on, like y'all have to stop.
That's official.
Y'all have to stop.
It's
He has.
nothing's official yet, but that's what they kind of put on Raw last night, where the Vision came out. No, Logan Paul came out to talk with Punk because Punk called him out, and then Logan Paul was like, "I see a new Vision." So it looks like Logan Paul paired up with the Vision to take Seth's spot, and then the entire crew comes out. Punk and Heyman get into it on the mic, and then it looks like the Vision plus Logan Paul is gonna jump Punk, and then Jey Uso comes to his defense. Then Cody Rhodes comes to his defense.
Yeah, it was made official. We just don't know the other teammates. But they did a backstage promo with Pierce,
Hmm.
and then Punk brought William Regal in, and then William Regal said War Games, and so it is War Games. It's just they only have three names so far. So
And what do we need to stop, Corey?
he called him Homelander. Like he has a name.
But he is
It
Okay.
is.
Anyway,
corrupted
um,
Yeah.
inside like
anyway,
a pineapple. No,
uh,
not like a pineapple.
I gotta think. I'm thinking it's going to be. This is where you get probably Jimmy, and you probably get Roman. You probably get Drew on the other side, and you probably get somebody else as
Well,
well.
about Drew, I don't know if we're gonna get Drew because Drew went sicko mode on Friday and got his ass suspended.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's yes.
Cody done broke Drew McIntyre to where Drew's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna take it out on the refs and everyone I just see fit.
Yeah,
Enough of this. To where
Mm,
Nick was like, all right, you suspended, you doing too much.
mm,
I think he will weasel his way back in, and or Cody will say unsuspend him or something. Somebody will get him unsuspended, and he'll be a part of it. It's either him or it's going to be Brock.
mm,
Yeah, one. I gotta think, but yeah, I gotta think that Roman or Jimmy or one or the other, an and or type of situation will be that fourth and or fifth member, of the faces side, and Drew and or Brock Lesnar will be on the heel side. So
mm, mhm,
we've got 2 weeks, so we'll see. Well, 3 weeks. Yeah, two.
mhm,
My fault, two.
okay,
So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right. I think War Games will be just fine. It's going to be interesting because we're going to see a focus on the mid card. That's why I think Cena could probably, if he doesn't lose it at Madison Square Garden, he could lose it at Survivor Series, and that's because both of the men's world champions are in War Games. So there's going to be a heavy focus on the mid card, I think, outside of War Games for this PLE.
mm, okay. Um, I did not see this PWI women's 250 list, so I'm assuming you saw this, Justin.
Yes, I did.
So you want to take that up
Yes, I will.
and then send
So
us to our glory?
so the women's 250 came out today officially. They were floating around the previous covers the last couple of days. They put out the criteria yesterday to make it clear, like, we know y'all gonna be bitching about who's in what spot and whatnot. Here is our criteria in black and white. Here is the evaluation period. We're putting this out the day before we put out the cover because y'all gonna be on the bullshit.
Mhm,
So the official list comes out, cover comes out for the first time ever. Mercedes tops the list at number
mhm,
one. Tony number
mhm,
two. We get a bunch of WWE girls in the top 10. Our girl Trinity, second
mhm,
time she's top 10. Number nine. This is the first time with Mercedes being number one, though. It's the first time you get all four horsewomen have been the number one spot on the women's 250 at some point. And this is
mhm,
now the fifth time that she's hit top 10, which now ties your favorite Charlotte Flair all time on that.
mm, okay.
But a very solid top 10, man. I know obviously everyone's gonna feel a way about the way she's been booked, how many titles she's got, titles. I felt like taking my fandom aside, there was that was a slam dunk number one. The same way Tony was a slam dunk last year. And it's a good look, not just for her, but for AEW, because we don't talk about AEW a lot, but for the last 2 years, they've had the top woman in that women's 250. And as much as we're very WWE centric, they are cooking with some shit over there in the AEW women's division. And over the
Mhm,
last 2 years, that has gotten tremendously better. Of like,
mhm,
if AEW is not your type of cup of tea, if that's not your type of wrestling, at least for the women's division, they have gotten immensely better
mhm,
these
mhm.
last 2+ years. And it's been Mercedes and Tony at the forefront of that. So peace to them.
Okay, cool. Anybody else notable?
Um, I saw Tiffany Stratton was what, number 5 or something like that, or 6, something
Mm,
like that.
Tiff, I
mhm,
think, was number four. And
Yeah,
that's where I forgot. Yeah, Tiffany Stratton was number four. And I forgot how long her title reign was. Like,
and,
that was
and
like at least 300 days. I was like, oh
yeah, I think
shit.
301 or 302, something like that.
mm,
And what was Naomi, 8 or something like that? I know Rhea was
9.
9. Okay, I'm okay with the list. I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's not like. So my thing is, I think which a lot of people may jump off the cliff for with Tiffany Stratton. This is only covering this year or whatever,
Mhm,
and for this year, Yeah, she's probably where she's supposed to be. She was the women's champion for almost the whole year. This is not an indication that she's the fourth best wrestler in the world forever or whatever, women's wrestler in the world forever. But for 2025, she probably is.
Mhm.
Can't be. I can't be because I see a lot of. Oh my god, she's over. You know, she's over Rhea Ripley. She's over that. I'm like, for this year, yeah, she probably is. Like, it's just this year. Tiffany probably won't even crack the top 25 next year for all we know.
Mm.
So it's like you gotta stay current. That I get people are upset, but people are jumping off for the wrong reason. I think
Mm. Mm.
so. Yeah,
Yeah, so
Okay.
basically, Mimi, top 10, Mercedes number one, Tony number two, Saya Kamatani number three, who I gotta do my homework on. If she's
Mhm.
top three, I gotta do my homework. Tiffany Stratton number four. For the fifth straight year, Stephanie Vakir is at number five. So that's back to back
Mhm.
years for Stephanie at the fifth spot. Io Sky number six, Athena number seven, Saray number eight. Salute to her because I've been seeing her name a lot this last
yeah.
year. Naomi at number nine, and Rhea Ripley rounds out the top 10.
Mm.
Very, very strong 10. I know people gonna
It
have
is.
like mix and match and like this person should be higher, but that's a very strong 10.
Mhm. What did you say, Corey?
I agree with that. It is. It's a very strong 10, and I think it's accurately named. I mean, I have to, like Justin said, for the people that I kind of don't know and got to do research on, which is just number three for the most part. Um, I think that the list is accurate. I mean,
Mhm.
it again, this is covering the last year in wrestling. Tiffany Stratton was champion what December through October or November 1st or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, she's where she belongs. I think. Again, this is not number four for the rest of our life. It's number four for 2025. You know,
Mm.
it makes sense.
Okay. Well, I think we're at the end of our list.
We
Yeah,
are ready to start letting some people in, get some feedback.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like anybody's it is has their hand raised though.
there's some. I think it's some requests out
We got
there.
we
I
we
believe.
got
Oh,
some we got some requests. People been
oh,
to
I
hop
can't
in.
see. That's why.
I got you. AJ, hop in
Mhm.
here. What's good?
What's up, guys? Been a minute.
No, it wasn't. You were just on last week.
Was I? I don't remember. Shoot, it's been a while.
Liar.
I have a long week. I had a long
What?
week, okay?
Oh, oh my
But
The
god.
devil's a liar, so is
anyway,
AJ.
What's
bitch
up,
don't have
AJ?
horns. I actually did have a question for you guys, and it was
Sure.
pertaining to what you guys been talking about. Dominic Mysterio, he lost the Intercontinental Championship to John Cena. But here's my thing. I want to actually mention is the fact that Dom didn't have the Judgment Day to come help him out like they always do, or the fact he actually didn't call El Grande Americano because I thought he actually has him in his like speed dial. I was thinking they was gonna show up, and I was like, no, they didn't show up, and I'm like, interesting. So this is my thoughts. Do you expect Dom to actually defend the AAA belt while having Americano's group come in and help him out, especially if he's planning on defending that belt? And like, imagine if he actually fights his dad again, but for the belt, for the AAA belt. I'm just
Mm,
saying if that's a thing that might happen.
Yes,
of
he's
course, yeah.
any other time he's been in title defenses, they've interfered. And last night is for you have to look deeper for last night's meaning. Yes, there is a story that's going to derive from this that Judgment Day didn't come out to help him, but the deeper meaning of that, Dominic had to have that match by himself with John Cena. Like there needed to be nobody else out there. The spotlight had to totally be on Dominic Mysterio for what the purpose of that match was, which in a deeper meaning, it was to give Dominic's that rub, that push, that that moment from John Cena. So there needed to be nobody interfering with anything other than. I know it's Dominic's character. I know that's what he does, but for Dominic Mysterio, the longevity, the big picture, the long term plan, he needed to be out there by himself and lose by himself, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
He had to do that on his own. So I thought that would have tainted any kind of Americanos group or judge any kind of anything taking focus off of Dominic Mysterio and John Cena in that match would have been a disservice to Dominic, I think, for what the purpose of that match was. So I'm okay with them not being there. But yes, absolutely, they will be involved in anything else that he does now. That anything that's not dealing with John Cena, they'll be involved.
I
Because
agree.
there's another thing I also noticed too, that
Mm.
at the end of the match you got to see of what happened years ago. If you remember when Rey Mysterio won the championship and John Cena congratulated him, and now years later, now you see Rey Mysterio's congratulating John Cena after John Cena whooped his son's ass and stole his belt. I was like, that's funny.
Well, I will say this. I think that's more just coincidental than anything else. But I will say something that I noticed, which kind of it may have gone by the wayside for a lot of people, but it's something I immediately picked up on when Ray said what he said to John. John immediately said, he's a good kid. Hope he learned his lesson." I think that endorsement right there was planting that small seed that we're going to see something where there's going to be a reconciliation with Dominic and Ray when Dominic ultimately turns babyface. There's going to be some kind of reconciliation with those two.
Mhm.
And I see that whether it's on the way out for Ray or hey, something where Dominic saves Ray or vice versa, there's going to be a reconciliation. It's coming. And I think that's going to be like the icing on the cake to cement Dominic's face turn.
Yeah.
But do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
see? But
Mhm.
do you see it during when he ends up getting jumped by Finn Balor, JD, or do you see that after that, or
Well, I mean, that's
if
what
that
I'm
never
saying. It could
happens?
be anything. It could be vice versa. It could be Ray getting jumped and Dominic makes the save after he realizes, how Judgment Day is treating him, or it could be the reverse that besides all of the crap that Dominic has put Ray through, Ray's gonna see himself as his father saving his son, and that's ultimately one way or the other. Either way it happens, I think that's how it happens.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's coming though, AJ. Like, I don't know when, but that Cena's not saying that for no reason. I picked that up immediately when they did that backstage, because Ray, for Ray to throw that in there, it was a jab, but not a bad. It was just like he finally got his, and then Cena's like, you know what though, like look deeper into it. There was a hidden extra with that. Like it was like, he's still a good kid, he's still your son. That immediately was like, okay, there it is. Something's going to happen down the line. I don't know when, but that the reconciliation will happen with Ray and Dom.
Okay. Thank you,
Yep.
AJ.
Thanks, AJ.
Thank
Who's
you,
next?
AJ. Bill Bixby, then Monet.
Yo, how's everybody doing today?
Good.
Fantastic. How are you?
Good, good, good. One thing I got to shout out EO for how she sold Lash's forearm because that does a lot for someone when they starting out when you sell it like that. And I shout out
Mm-hmm.
EO on that uh, because I remember everybody was panicking about Lash, and I was like, hold on. They did the same NXT trope when someone's going up, they'll just do the honors to somebody on the way out. And guess what? Lash is on the main roster. I like the fact they put her with Naya, so you know that she's a clear heel because Nia doesn't get cheered, you know, and it got her in a great spot in War Games. So that's a great spot right there. And like y'all said, the lights ain't gonna be too bright. They ain't gonna have her by herself. She had a lot of vets who were helping her out. And I think that says what they think of her. And I'm happy for her in that, because I remember when she first started out, all the crap that woman took from the IWC and these marked podcasters, and the progress she made and her sticking with it. It shows. And if I ever met that woman, I'll tell her thank you for like being so tough and sticking with it and everything. Uh, but like when it comes to like everybody saying like new people and stuff like that, I think sometimes it's kind of tough in a way. And I think this is where this NXT thing with Saturday night's main event might actually be a good thing, because my criticism of NXT has been, hey, let's take some of these shows on the road in front of a different audience, because everybody's over to a degree in the PC. But you take them to a different audience, a different town, and see what fans who may not watch the show on a regular, who they may take to. Because we wonder, a lot of us wonder, okay, this person's great at NXT, but the crowd's not taking to them on the main roster. So maybe having them do these exhibitions, maybe do like Javon Evans pop up on SmackDown every now and then. Maybe that can help some of these people be over quicker when they get to the main roster. What do you guys think about that?
Um, I I do think that they've kind of tested those waters already, much like you mentioned. Um, Even as far back before they were recent, because we see it heavy with Javon Evans right now,
Mm-hmm.
which tells me it's clear as day that's kind of their next project push that they're going to bring up to the main roster is because we see it's not taken away from Javon, but we see the shiny toy call ups when they have them that ooh
Mm-hmm.
this guy, but there's also call ups right under that, like a level under that, that kind of really, they put in more of the groundwork that from the ground up type of build up that they do, and Javon Evans is one of them. Another person they did that with, they didn't bring him up, but
So
it was
Ruka.
maybe about a year ago or so when they had right before Mello turned on Trick, they had
Mm-hmm.
but they had Trick, come up and save Mello on SmackDown one week, and everybody knew who it was, and it was a big deal. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, that was a good little test, just to throw that in there. That they weren't bringing him up, but they just wanted to see a reaction, and he got the reaction. So I thought that was pretty cool too. So they
Yeah.
do that, but I do think we're prominently seeing it with Javon, that Javon's going to be kind of the workhorse call up, that they're going to really let him work and build up, as opposed to one of the call ups they have that gets kind of put in a prominent position right as they're called up.
Yeah, because he's an underdog baby face, and the kids are going to love him. And I think they've done the same thing with Saul Ruka as well. Um, but one thing though I bring up is like the TNA partnership that has helped develop Trick and develop Kalani when they get their heel personas going. But
Hmm.
I ask y'all this: I know they keep saying Braun Breaker's a future; he's a WrestleMania main eventer. For
Hmm.
someone who watches all the time, someone on 47 now as this past Saturday, Trick and Oba seem like they're more next level stars to me with the charisma, the promos to me. And I think those guys may end up stepping in and hitting those spots as well.
They are.
Yeah, and because I see it. Because Oba, with his cause one fellow Alabama alum, Roll Tide. But the thing is, with Oba, right, even when he puts the accent on, you can understand him perfectly. I'm not trying to sound xenophobic, but it's like me with my southern accent. I have to watch myself sometimes because some people who not from the South may not get me, you know.
Hmm.
Uh,
But
but I
you don't
like
have
that.
to do. You shouldn't have to do that. But okay.
But no, but I'm saying slow down and things like that because I
Mm,
can't talk fast. That's what I'm
okay.
saying. Like my dialect, yeah,
Hmm.
like that. Yeah, because I'm still a country all these years. So be it. I live in Phoenix, you know. But like even with Oba, you see it. Trick, you see it with him because even like when he was on TNA, guys, he just stands out. He stands out, and with his promo, and I think he's so marketable. And my last thing is, I want to ask you guys this: when I watched Raw last night, and I'm like, Does Cody really need a main event WrestleMania this time? Can we have
Ugh.
Roman versus Punk in one match? Because I think that'd be a great story. And can we just have the women main event this year? Like, like Jade and Bianca have a hell of a story. Can we do that? Because who the hell could be Cody main event against? It's not knocking Cody, but you know what I'm saying? Stone Cold Steve Austin did main event every WrestleMania. The Rock didn't, you know. And and I forgot to say this. Can I say this real
Mm-hmm.
quick? And I'll take it off
Yeah,
the
go
air.
ahead. No, go ahead.
With the Cena thing last night, if I was Dominic, they would have yelled at me in the back for smiling, laying on my back with that spot. But that shows what they feel about Dominic.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And it shows you don't have to put on Meltzer Classic falling 20 feet off a building to be over. This
That's
man
right.
is over.
Yep.
And because character trumps every day, character gets you in the building. Character gets me paying $130 for lower level on the first of the Raw in Glendale. Uh,
Mhm.
that's what character does. And I think that right there with Dominic, because look where he started at and look where he is now based on character work. And and I think like with that, Dominic, it doesn't hurt him at all.
Mm-mm.
That's a great spot them putting him in there. And the way he stood toe to toe with Cena on that mic, that right there. And like with this tournament, like y'all said, I want a young guy to take this. If Cena still has the title at Saturday night's main event, Oba Femi should take that thing from him. Because that's what I think. If because Gunther, it kind of makes sense, but I want somebody fresh and new, just like Cena was fresh and new for Kurt Angle, who was a top guy at the time. But you guys and gals keep doing what y'all do. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Lil Bixby.
Uh, um, to answer his question, because he asked the question in there.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't think Cody main events at all this year. Like again, for me,
Hallelujah.
it's relax. No, I'm joking. No, I I genuinely think he doesn't main event because I think he's probably facing like a Sami Zayn or something at WrestleMania for the championship. And I don't think they're going to main event with that. Can the women main event? Absolutely, but they got to do a story. They got to have the right story with it. The story has to be populated. I think the story is there. I think the story is with Bianca and Jade, honestly, but it has to get rolling. And until that happens, they're not going to do it. I don't want it to be where they put the main women in the main event for the sake of putting women in the main event if there's no story with it, because then people will hate on it more, and they don't deserve that. I would rather it be a story where you're like, yeah, that definitely should be the main event, which has happened before, and then they all of a sudden they missed the boat on putting it in the main event. But then you do, if they force it, I don't want them to force it because I think people will, it gives people unnecessary ammunition against the women, which isn't fair, because there are people are going to be like, oh, well, they should have been, and I don't think that's fair. So if they're going to do that, it needs to be a story that has the legs to do the main event, and I think they do have one, but it has to get started. But I absolutely don't think Cody is main eventing again. I really don't. Unless he's fighting Roman, they're not doing the main event again.
And as much as I love and we love Bianca Belair, I gotta see her in the ring first because
Yeah, that's
the
true too.
longer
Yep.
this goes on with the finger issue, the more I get concerned because it's like, girl, this has been over 6 months, and obviously she's talked about to where like this wasn't like a typical normal like I broke my fingers. Like the longer this goes, the more like, all right, either this is like really really serious or there's something else that we just
Yeah.
don't know about. But I gotta see her in the ring before I start fancy booking Bianca at WrestleMania. I'm at that point
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Monet, what's good?
Hi.
Hello.
Yo. What's up?
Okay, so my goal real long. That was sad. But I'm happy for John Cena, I guess, and the John Cena marks, in his last 4 dates and stuff. Um, and I'm starting my Dominic Mysterio for Money in the Bank 2026 agenda. Very, I will say that I could see. I think I could see him being a Money in the Bank winner next year, and I could see him being a world champion by 2027. Because at this point, it's like dude's on roll. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ray takes the AAA Mega Championship from him. To be honest, at some point, probably because like Finn Balor, because it definitely feels like that Judgment Day implosion is coming. It definitely feels like it's on the horizon. So, but yeah, so I'm starting that agenda early for sure. And men's war games. I can see John Cena being in war games. I get if this is if Brock Lesnar is on the men's heel team, I on Team Vision. I could see Cena being on the babyface team. Just cause like I don't know, it feels like because you could question why Cody's in this match because it definitely feels like a match where like their match imploded a couple weeks ago and now they're piecing it back together in some kind of way. So I definitely can see John Cena ending up in that match for sure. Um, and I actually think, especially like, cause I don't know, cause there was talk before about him possibly fighting Dom, but clearly he just fought Dom, and then he beat him. So it's just kind of like, you know, I I don't know, I forgot who said it earlier, but like about maybe John Cena and Rusev, but if they don't do him in a singles match, I definitely could see him being in War Games for sure. Um, and yeah, I agree. Like Oba Femi, to me, if John Cena is gonna put the IC title on the line in his last match, if he has it, then it's just like Oba Femi to me is like the most perfect person. Oba is the kind of person where it's like when you call him up, you gotta have a plan. You gotta have a great plan. And putting him in that tournament, I think he might be one of the mystery people. I could see him being the mystery person on Monday or Friday. And him having a good run in this tournament and going on and being John Cena for IC title, and you make a statement with him because that is somebody that you make a statement with. He is somebody who, like, within the next 3 years, if you want him to, could be in the main event of WrestleMania because, like, he has everything. Like, Oba has everything. Like, in my opinion, he's like a Bianca Belair, just like a perfect like wrestler. Like, he just has like everything. Like, I don't know if he could be any more perfect, and he's only gonna get better at what he does. So I would love if Oba won the tournament. And talking about women main eventing things, in my opinion, the women should main event War Games over the guys. Because like I said before, the men's match feels like an imploded match that they had to piece back together. The women's match they've been building very, very well. A lot of people have a lot of criticism of Triple H this year, but that women's division is he's well, minus SmackDown and some of the women, that go to Raw. From SmackDown. Like he's done a great job at like piecing all their stories together over the past few months with like kind of the nucleus of it being like the Rio and Kabuki Warriors thing and getting the women's tag champs involved and getting Lash and Nia involved through Charlotte and Alexa. I just feel like they've done a very good job. And I know they probably won't because of the names that will be in the men's match, but like and I said this last week. I feel like the men are kind of been boring me. Not that I'm not interested in what they could do in the War Games. I think the match itself would be fun, but I think from a storyline perspective, like the effort that they put into it and the amount of care that they put into it and the effort that they're putting in, the women should go on last at Survivor Series because like their match storyline wise, it makes more sense. I feel like it's more naturally put together. Their angle feels hotter. And I feel like, Hunter loves to talk about all the time. Well, the hottest thing is what should go on last. I feel like their thing is the hottest thing right now, and they should go on last at Survivor Series.
Well put. Anything else
All
on your
right
mind?
then.
Um, Oh yeah, Cody Rhodes shouldn't main event WrestleMania either. I agree with Bill. We talked about it the other day. The women should get a main event at Mania too. Either Bianca and Jay, like I was saying, or competitive big 30+ minute classic with Rhea Ripley finally beating Io Sky. Like, I think you got two great stories right there, and I think either one of them could go on last. And I feel like you, because I will not to be a conspiracy theorist, but
Hmm.
I do feel like sometimes when we get into Mania season, even that when they have women's angles that feel hot, they pull back on them. They don't fully invest in them. They've done that with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. They had a story, they chose not to tell it. They did it with Bailey and Io. They had a story, and by the time we got to Mania, like they were getting less screen time and less effort. And by the time we got to Mania, not that it felt cold, but it definitely cooled off a bit because it wasn't as much effort into going into it those last few weeks. Like I felt like Rhea Becky, like they weren't really doing anything, until like those last 3 weeks, to where it's like it didn't warrant it anymore. They wouldn't have anyway because The Rock showed up. But still, if they had a chance, I just and then even the women this year, like, I feel like they could have done a better job telling the story. I feel like you had an opportunity where you could have told a better story with those three where they could have main evented over Roman, Punk, and Rollins, and they didn't do that. But so sometimes I do feel like they know what matches they want to put in the main event, and they force those matches to be that, and don't put as much effort into the matches that they don't want to be that. And I feel like sometimes they do that with the women's matches, like they kind of pull back. And like I said, you have two very good stories there, and if you wanted the main event, if you really wanted it to, you know they could. They have two matches that are with big names that are fully capable of doing it, that people are invested in. And I really want to see them do it. I really want to see them do it. People keep saying Triple H hates women. I don't want to believe he hates women. I like he not that he hates them, but like just doesn't want to put them in these like big spots when it's like you can do it. Like like I was saying with Survivor Series, I'm like it's warranted. Give them the spot. Like they've been killing it. You've been letting them main event Raw. Put them in more PLE main events. Not even just Survivor Series or WrestleMania. Like I feel like there's more times where you could put them in those spots. But yeah, I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist, but I do feel like during Mania season they do kind of pull back a little bit on them because they kind of don't want them to be in that spot, even though they claim that, oh well, if the story, but I'm like, you don't give them the story to put them in that position. So but I hope they do it. I hope they continue to invest in them like they've been doing for the past, basically this past year, going into next year to have a WrestleMania main event spot.
Well put. The only thing I'll add to this is, and I think this is like a WWE issue of like that they've had the last couple of years of like when it comes to Mania season, when it's too early to start a story and feud and when it's too late. Because you were talking about how like Charlotte and Rhea and like Becky for another one where like they kind of started too late. But then I think back to like WrestleMania 35 with like Becky and Ronda, and then they include Charlotte, and then for the entire like from January all the way to WrestleMania 35, they were like the focal point. But so many other things were happening that by the time we got to Mania, that feud had completely cooled off because it was 3 straight months of build, build, build. Meanwhile, Kofi Mania took off in like a matter of weeks, and we went from Kofi's not doing anything in WrestleMania to now we actually want Kofi in the title match at WrestleMania. We wouldn't be mind if he had like a co-main event type of thing. So it's kind of like when it's too early and when it's too late, and I think they still struggle with that. But you're right, like the last time we ever had a women main event either night, you gotta go all the way back to WrestleMania 37 to then Sasha Banks and Bianca, and that's the only time the women have ever main evented either night of Mania. So at some point, if they continue, if this is not the year where like if you don't have the women main eventing any nights at WrestleMania, then you gotta start asking the Triple H question of like, do you see your women as main eventers the same way you see the guys? Because the way you go about Mania and SummerSlam is kind of like you don't, and the proof's in the pudding. Because now it've been almost what? Damn, when was WrestleMania 37? Is that 2021, Corey?
Yes, it is.
So now you're talking 5 straight years of like you're not putting your women in the main events on on your biggest shows now for like 5 straight years.
Yeah, no. As long as there's a good story, I'm all for it. As again, I just don't want the women in a position that it looks like, well, we gave them the main event and they didn't do nothing with it.
Yeah,
So
but even if it's like a hodgepodge story, like look what happened with Cody and Cena, and the whole Rock was supposed to be in it, then he's not in it. Then Travis Scott was supposed to do something, then he didn't, and that one fell on his face. Was like, but you gave that the main event.
I don't think unfortunately the women are going to be given that luxury of the benefit of the doubt like they should. That's why I'm hoping it doesn't happen because I don't think it's fair to them.
It's not, especially that they've been over delivering from whatever WWE has given them
Hmm.
on these big PLEs, but it's like we'll see. I'm still gonna give benefit of the doubt, but come Rumble and Mania, if they're not in better positions, then it really is like I know Triple H a little handcuffed because there's only so much he can do because when TKO bought the damn company, it wasn't with like all right, Triple H, you're running everything and like you know what I mean? Like there's only so much he can do. So as
Right.
much as we want to bitch to Triple H, it's also like a but we also got to ask the question like, do you guys even see the women on the same level as the men? Because the way you're going about it is like, no, and that's a problem in a company like this where like people want to see your women main event,
Hmm.
especially if you're asking us to pay these extreme prices for like to just to go to these shows. Like I looked the other day for like Saturday night's main event for DC, and I'm just like, yep, I'm skipping this because that prices are still ridiculously like
Hmm.
just to get in the
Yeah.
building is like 500 minimum for like nosebleeds, and you know how high those nosebleeds go up in Cap One.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
I love Cena, but that's nah. I ain't trying to high five Jesus while I'm up there.
Understandable.
But thank you, Monet. Hey, it's about that time, Corey.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
8:01. NXT should be starting right now.
It
I
is.
know I know my Knicks are kicking off, so I'm about to hop off work finally. We thank you guys for pulling up. I know Mimi is in the ethos of out and about and whatnot, so I know she sends her love. We thank you guys for pulling up to keep this conversation inspiring. This was a great week of wrestling as we build towards War Games. We got the women's 250 out, so we showed a lot of love to women's wrestlers. A lot of people on that list for the first time. Salute to them. And Corey, since Mimi's not
Yes.
here, what do we say about Cody Rhodes?
He's the WWE champion. Have a good night, you guys.
Peace.